schools at right now. And look at you guys. And I know that we can do anything that we set our minds to. We're still young enough to believe, and we're still old enough, strong enough to fight. And look at you guys, and I know that we will make our schools back into institutions, and that we will do what is right. I am no longer inspired by my school. Rather, I am inspired by our movement, by the strength of our beliefs, and by the sincerity with which we hold them. We, the people here today, are the physical embodiment of our ideals. The people around you may not go to BC, but I assure you that they are men and women for others. We are more than just our schools. We are a movement, and because of that, we will win. Thank you.
Thank you, Flo, for bravely coming out here to call for climate justice and to call out Boston College for standing on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Our next speaker is Evan Bell. Evan is the co-founder of Tufts Divest. Evan also helped organize XL Dissent, where 400 students were arrested at the White House in protest of the Keystone Pipeline.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. It's great to see so many wonderful people.
Can't hear you. Louder.
Okay, let me know if you can't hear me. It was great hearing Chloe speak just a minute ago about what it was like at the very first moments of this movement. I remember being in a room with maybe 8 other people in Tufts University in their halls, sitting around wondering what it would take to do something like this. In fact, what does divestment mean? And what does it mean to, give ourselves to something? A lot of scary thoughts. And as I think about this movement, it's sort of an escalation of how much scariness you may take on. So over the last 3 years, we've been doing this just as long as Harvard. In this Boston area, we had a lot of movements all start at the same time. We've been fighting and drudging and working, and we're waiting for a big win. At Tufts, we had a referendum vote. We had our Senate resolution. We had some negotiations. But we're not really any farther along.
Hey there.
And that's a bit scary. So I think a lot about what it means to be afraid of movement like this. And I think a lot about what it means to be brave in the face of that fear. Thinking of XL Dissent, which was mentioned before, that was the first time I was ever arrested for climate justice. But that's not the most afraid I've ever been. I'm thinking of right now, seeing all these faces in the crowd, and knowing that next week, Tufts will be doing something escalated. And that's scary. But the thing about being scared, and the thing about being in this movement, is it's not about avoiding fear. It's about embracing love. This movement is not about avoiding fear, it's about embracing each other. What has kept me in this movement, what has kept me in the Office of TransCanada, which is building the Keystone Pipeline, which has brought me to the White House fence, which has brought me to each and every meeting, is the people around me. Quick shout out to all the amazing people here who came from Tufts. Just down the road.
Yeah.
And a huge shout out to all the people here from just the Boston area in general.
Yeah.
Who has consistently shown up. So to reiterate, next week will maybe be the scariest moment of my life. in which I will take action, I will take a stand, I'll have to tell my parents that I'm going to be missing classes maybe, or that they should maybe watch the news, because who knows what might happen. And that's scary. But I'll know that that scariness is not even close to the amount of love that I will feel, the amount of fire in my heart, and just the absolute joy of being there with the people that make me feel most excited and powerful and hopeful. Thank you all for being those people. Thank you, Harvard, for pushing this whole area to its crisis moment, which it greatly deserves, because it's about to happen, people. This is about to change big things.
Thank you to our student speakers. We now also want to hear from some speakers from really incredible community organizations. Because we know that this movement is as strong as it is because it's a movement of so many different people coming together. And so I'd now like to invite Emily Kirkland from the Better Future Project. Emily is the communications coordinator for the Better Future Project, a grassroots organization based right here in Harvard Square. She also helps coordinate 350 Massachusetts, the statewide volunteer-led climate action network.
All right, so I'm going to keep this super short because I get the sense that this is a crowd that's basically ready to celebrate. Is that right? Who here has had a good time this week? Who here has had some fun? This whole week has really, I just feel like I've been having more fun than I deserve to. This has been a beautiful week. Thank you to Divest Harvard and to everyone who's made it possible. I want to take a minute now just to talk about numbers. And not about parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere or numbers of endangered species, but about a different type of numbers. I remember being part of one of the first fossil fuel divestment campaigns when this all got started in the fall of 2012, and writing the first press release for our first campaign event and putting in it that there were 12 divestment campaigns in the world. And it seemed like a really, really big number. I was like, you can't even count that on two hands. Think about it. There are now thousands of divestment campaigns all over the world. Just right here in Cambridge, there's a campaign to divest the private high school BBNS. There's a campaign to divest Leslie, right a few blocks away. There's a campaign to divest MIT. There are campaigns to divest Boston College, Tufts, Northeastern, Boston University. There are campaigns to divest almost every church in Cambridge. First Unitarian has already divested. The Cambridge City Council has already passed a resolution for divestment. There's even a divestment campaign at this school. Starts with an H. It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's like, I want to say it's like Harvard. And it isn't just divestment either, right? So when Better Future Project started 350 Massachusetts as a statewide volunteer-led climate action network in 2012, statewide was a bit of a stretch. We were in Cambridge. We met every few weeks. Now, 350 Massachusetts has 10 local groups all over the state, thousands of people organizing. And it's not just Massachusetts either. This is now an international movement that can bring hundreds of thousands of people into the streets. Who here was at the People's Climate March in September? Who here brought a friend to the People's Climate March in September? It has been amazing to watch this movement grow. And we all know that it's just getting started. And we are all part of it. So whether you've been up every night for the last 6 weeks, writing emails and sitting on conference calls and making Google Docs, or whether this is literally the first climate thing you've ever done, you are part of it. Part of it. This has become an unstoppable movement. I'm so glad to be here with all of you, and I encourage every single one of you to become part of 350 Mass. And Sabine, who's about to go after me, will tell you all about how to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I also just want to thank everyone from our community partners who supported Divest Harvard this week. I want to thank Emily, I want to thank Shay, I want to thank Colin, I want to thank Katie and Jamie and Matt and Bill and everyone else who's been out here from 350 and the Better Future Project and Fossil Free. Thank you so much. And now for the last speaker of the night, I'd like to invite Sabine Mering to come up and speak with us. Sabine is a professor of German and Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies at Brandeis. She is also a leader in the effort to divest Brandeis and help organize faculty from all over Boston in the name of divestment. She also somehow helps coordinate 350 Massachusetts. So can you all help me to bring up Sabine?
Right there. Right there.
Oh my God, you guys are awesome looking. So like most of you who are parents, I'm in this for my kids. And my older son is turning 22 actually this minute. And he's a musician. He's in Atlanta, and he's a musician, and he's opening for Snoop Dogg tonight. I was just thinking when she announced me, I was just thinking, I'm going to tell him, hey, I was the Snoop Dogg of the divestment rally. That feels really good. So let's do some work here. Fossil fuel divestment is a boost for the climate movement around the country and around the world. We are becoming louder, better, and smarter, right? Our critics are also becoming a little louder because they're getting a little nervous, which is a good thing. And they say, for example, fossil fuel divestment does not stop climate change. They just don't get or don't want to get that divestment is only the first step. We all know what will stop climate change. A fair price on carbon and a power shift to renewables for global climate justice. Divestment destroys the social license and political capital of fossil fuel companies and allows us to regain our political system so that we can put a price on carbon and expand renewable energy. While people are busy talking about crazy things like geoengineering, or we need to research the solutions. We actually have a plan. 1, divestment. 2, fair carbon pricing. 3, renewables for global climate justice. So, let's repeat. 1, divestment. 2, fair carbon pricing. 3, renewables for global climate justice. Nice job. I will recommend you as the next Snoop Dogg. So our critics say fossil fuel divestment does not stop fossil fuel companies from pumping oil and gas. We know that. We know fossil fuel companies will only stop doing their dirty business when it is no longer profitable for them and when even their profit-hungry souls get hooked on alternatives. However, we will not wait for them to wake up. Right? We want climate action now. 1, divestment. 2, fair carbon pricing. 3, renewables for global climate justice. Our critics say divestment is too political, and universities should focus on research and teaching instead. Ours is a strange time when corporations are people, but investments are not political. As if we hadn't known since the beginning of the feminist movement that everything, even the personal, is political. Universities that buy fossil fuel stocks want fossil fuel companies to be profitable. That is political, right? Anyone who claims to be serious about climate change must break with the fossil fuel industry and support climate action that works in 3 simple steps. 1, divestment. 2, fair carbon pricing. 3, renewables for global climate justice. Our critics say fossil fuel divestment makes no sense as long as we use fossil fuels by driving and heating our homes with them. But we are not asking for fossil fuels. We are asking for energy. We want renewables. The problem is fossil fuel companies control our political system and prevent investment in public transport and renewables. And as Naomi Oreskes, a Harvard professor I hear, has shown, they fund climate denial. As long as universities that are supposed to be our beacons of truth are invested in fossil fuels, they too are funding climate denial and opposition to climate justice. We need them on the side of good. We need them to support climate action now. 1, divestment. 2, fair carbon pricing. 3, renewables for global climate justice. Some critics even claim that we are alienating a potential partner that could help us develop solutions. That's very strange because fossil fuel companies have known for a long time what the solutions are. They have had access to power and money to do the right thing for decades. Have they done it? No! Is giving us what we want their goal? No! Their 3 goals are profit, more profit, the most profit. our goals? One, divestment.
Two, fair carbon pricing. Three, renewables for global climate justice.
Awesome. All right. Back up to the pit. Our friendliest critics, the nice guys, they say we shouldn't waste our time on fossil fuel divestment and focus instead on reducing our individual and institutional carbon footprint. I am personally driving an electric Smart, and it's really cool. And it's powered by the solar panels on my roof, which is also really cool. But it doesn't stop climate change. To stop climate change, we need a major power shift that begins with one, divestment. Two, fair carbon pricing. Three, renewables for global climate justice. Awesome. We need this three-pronged approach, and the membership of 350 Massachusetts is working on 3 statewide campaigns. Guess what they are called?
One,
divestment.
two, fair carbon pricing. Three, renewables for global climate justice.
Sort of. We do a little less. The truth is, our critics don't really care. They prefer to play golf or watch TV. But we care. We care about the planet and its creatures. Our movement is a movement for climate justice, and the only reason why critics are raising their voices is that their status quo is crumbling while our movement is taking off like a rocket ship. One, divestment. Two, fair carbon pricing. Three, renewables for global climate justice. And the sky is the limit. You guys don't seem like a crowd that's done acting this week. Am I right? And so we're going to call on everyone to take one more action this week during Harvard Heat Week to call on Harvard to divest from fossil fuels. And so I want to turn all of your attention to Kelsey and Shay.
Thank you, everybody, for being part of Harvard Heat Week. This amazing moment for our movement that has been months, years in the making. We've had some wonderful speakers tonight, but you all know that we're not just here to listen. We're here and we're part of this movement in order to act. So we're going to march together to take our message through the Harvard community one more time on this final day of Harvard Heat Week. We are going to march through Harvard Yard, past the buildings that Divest Harvard members have been blockading for an entire week. We are going to march up Massachusetts Avenue so that the Harvard community hears our voices one more time. But we can't march without some chants. So first, we're going to learn them.
All right. Is the Cambridge climate movement in the house? Is the Boston climate movement in the house? Is the Massachusetts climate movement in the house? Is the New England climate movement in the house? I know we got some UNH folks. I saw you. McGill? I think we got McGill in the house. All right. So let's march with all the spirit and the passion of the students that have been holding Mass Hall all week. This is a chant that y'all have heard a lot. We're just going to do it one more time. Let's talk it first, just to really feel the gravity of it and march with that spirit, okay? So let's do a call and response. The people gonna rise like the water.
People gonna rise like the water.
We're gonna calm this crisis down.
We're gonna calm this crisis down.
I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter
I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter
saying Alright, so let's sing it. The people gonna rise like the water. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna calm this crisis down. We're gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. Saying divest Harvard now. Saying divest Harvard now. Alright, we ready to let all of Harvard Yard hear this? You ready to march? Let's do it! The people gonna rise like the water.
Calm this crisis down. In the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. Calm this crisis down. And in the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying divest Harvard now. People gonna rise like the water.
People gonna rise like the water, gonna calm this crisis down. Hear the voice of my great granddaughter.